So you remember the hierarchy of biological organization, and you'll remember that we have cells that come together and form tissues. And there's 4 different types of tissues. There's nervous, muscular, connective, and epithelial. And then those tissues come together to form organs. So what this means is, like, my stomach is not just muscular tissue, it is lined with epithelial tissue. It has extensive nervous tissue in it, and it has connective tissue on the outside. From organ system, or from the organs, we go to systems. And this is generally how we talk about anatomy and physiology. So for example, you could have a chapter on the digestive system, a chapter on the excretory system, a chapter on the nervous system, and you don't consider the fact that these systems interact with one another. And so in biology, this is the idea of reductionism, actually not in just biology, but reductionism versus holism. So if I'm going to isolate the digestive system and only study how the digestive organs interact with each other, then that would be reductionism. And that has gotten us really far in our understanding of our biology. However, we have to realize that when the digestive system interacts with our immune system and our nervous system, then there are new things, new properties that arise. And these properties are what we call emergent properties. So emergent properties are due to the interaction of parts. So they cannot be explained, they can't be explained by looking at the individual components. And so in medicine, this is kind of a big deal because we have specialists. So if you have digestive system issues, you might go to a gastroenterologist, and he might conclude one thing. And then if you have immune system, you might go to an immune specialist. If you have problems with your nerves, you might go to a neurologist, right? Or an endocrinologist to study your hormones. So what happens is that oftentimes as you get older, you end up going to all these specialists, and they might give you a whole assortment of drugs. And then you might be taking these drugs that are interacting with each other and with each other's systems. And so understanding this holistic point of view is super important in moving beyond and, you know, moving into the new frontiers of medicine, okay? So let's give an example of how how even different organs can actually have different roles in a system or different systems, okay? An organ might be important in more than one system. So let's look at the kidney as an example. The kidney plays a big, huge role in the excretory system. This is how we get rid of nitrogenous wastes. So it filters the blood of nitrogenous waste. But it also plays a role in your cardiovascular system. So it's not generally part of our cardiovascular system, which is our heart and our blood vessels, but it is super important. So the cardiovascular system, it actually helps to control your blood pressure. It also produces a hormone. So for example, if we talk about the endocrine system, it produces a hormone called EPO. EPO. It's called erythropoietin. You might have heard of EPO in terms of like athletes using it inappropriately. EPO is a hormone that stimulates the production of red blood cells. So this is why if you have kidney failure and your kidneys aren't working, you're going to have problems in multiple systems because of the role that the kidneys play in each. And we can talk about other organs. We can even talk about bones as having an endocrine function. They just recently discovered that there is a hormone produced by your bones that might be really important in regulating your blood glucose levels, which we all know that is a sign of diabetes when you're unable to do that. And so understanding the role that our bones play in regulating your glucose levels might be important in the treatment of diabetes. And so realizing that these systems interact and they play multiple roles in keeping the entire organism alive and surviving and potentially reproducing is super important.